Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. The most wonderful time of the year.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, not dry January. It is double rates on Ancient Shards. So we're on the Filthy Raid account. We are on day 47, I think, today. Yep, just got a rare book. We get another Ancient tomorrow. Of course, I will pop that as well for the double chances. We have managed to get 34 shards. We're going to open them. If you want to skip straight to the dopamine inducing shard pulls, I will timestamp it in the description. But other than that, we're just going to have a little quick look at the account and talk about what we're hoping to get, why we're going to open them, and that sort of thing. If you do enjoy Raid, do subscribe. We're very slowly eking our way to 500 subs. And as always, guys, a like brightens my day. Now, RNG wise, I think we've been fairly fortunate on this account so far, given it's pretty early on, and we've already got some really nice champions. Tarogi, Ugo, Shiramani, Shamrock, Magnar, all wonderful champions. Wuzgar, really good. Holstring, I think, has actually proved to be useful. I did think he was not going to be great when I got him. That seemed to be the general vibe in the community, bar him being in the end game, like, finite hard team, which we're miles, of course, miles and miles from. But it has been pretty good. Deke, pretty good. I think Battle Sage will be okay. She needs books though, so I'm a little reluctant to take her further. We've also still got Tyrell, we've got Rector Drath, we've got Petrified Rockroot, we've got some interesting epics as well that we picked up. So we're absolutely stacked on champions. So in some ways, maybe we should have sat on the previous shards. We did get Stagnite as well, another top pull out of the Sacred. So we don't really need the champions, but I think I've decided, because of the city of Sintranos, because of Doom Tower and things like that, we kind of need to push the account a little bit wider, because otherwise we're just going to get stuck. We're going to get stuck on awakening stages, we're going to get stuck on restrictions. So we just need as many champs really as possible. Stuff like this, like Demon Spawn, Skinwalker, we need to level up some of these champs. We just need access to as many really good ones as we can. Clan Boss team's nearly finished. I just need the game to drop me some Stalwart gear. That's all we need from Dragon. So let's go through this. Who do we want? We want, I think, somebody from Dwarves and Sylvan Watchers, because those two factions are pretty underpowered at the moment. We could press on a little bit more with faction wars for both. The rest are generally okay. Barbarians will sort itself out over time. Orcs, Undead, I just haven't really bothered building them up. Lizardmen Epic would be handy. That would be nice. Skinwalker. Now, we're of course going all in with the shards, and one of the reasons, not just because it's 2 times Ancients, we've got a 10x on Nekmo Thaar. This is an endgame amazing champion, so we've got about a 1 in 3 chance of getting legendary. If we get a legendary, there's about 5% chance it's going to be him, so I think that equates to about 1.5% chance we'll get him, but he is pretty amazing with his decreased attack, decreased speed, leech. All this stuff is amazing for Hydra. Increased AoE, speed up and turn meter fill, granting extra turn, fills his own turn meter, speed in all battles, all that good stuff. So yeah, we would love a Geomancer, we would love just some epics. So we're going to do them one at a time just so we can look at everybody's kit. So wish me luck, and here we go.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
And straight out the door we get an epic. Lochwain, I think we're going to get this guy with the Prime promo code, but he is usable in Fusion. And we did ask for Sylvan Watchers, so that is off to a cracking start. 30% chance of stealing a random buff, bucks up to 50, so he could solve our medium term problems in keeps, because he'll rip off block buffs, he'll rip off shields, so that's nice. He has got an AoE booking down to a 3-turn cooldown, removes Veil, Perfect Veil, obviously very useful potentially in Arena. Also has a 100% chance when booked of removing 1 random buff from all enemies. So a little bit of a kind of mini strip here, so we'll take 1 off, so that's kind of nice. We could use him in Arena as a stripper, that's something we could do. He would also take Veil, Perfect Veil, if we come across Duchess or Rector Drath. And he hits 1 person twice, ignoring shield buffs, resets cooldown of the skill if it kills an enemy. So that's kind of handy. I'm hoping this hits quite hard, so you can just go and nuke somebody. He's got a passive, increase champion's accuracy by 10 for each buff on the enemy. So the enemy buffs up, he gets more accuracy, and I guess he's got more chance of stripping. Speed in arena battles for 20%. We've been really lucky with the speed arenas. We've got about 6 champions with speed leads, so that is a good pull. I think about 5 or 6 epics would be where we are, what we're looking for. So yeah, 1 out of 2 is not bad. Magus is rubbish. I think she is used in the fusion though. She has a small chance of placing stun on A1, which is not great. She does poison on an AoE. She places it. You could do something with her in early clan boss, I guess. And then she's got an AoE healing herself. On a 4-turn cooldown, speed in arena battles. Like, if she was the first champ you pulled, I think she might be okay. Let's just check. I think she's part of Razan. Is she not? No, it's Thurgist. Okay, they look pretty similar. Yeah, if she was like one of the first champions you pulled, sure. But I don't really see us using her particularly much. Got an Ogren trailer. He hits quite hard for a rare champion. Attacks one enemy, 40% chance of removing a random buff from the target. Attacks one enemy on his A2, 40% chance of stealing 2 random buffs. Places an extra hit if the buff is stolen. So again, he is somebody you could build for the keeps. You would probably want this bucking up to the 75, maybe 80% with sniper chance of stealing 2 random buffs. That's quite a nice move. Attacks one enemy, damage increases by 20% if target has no active buffs, and that's I think one of the reasons he does hit hard, because he gets this 20% extra damage potentially. Again, probably won't build him, or certainly not in the immediate future. We've got ourselves a Hound Spawn. We all know about him. We get lots of copies of him from Farming Campaign, so not much to say there. Fantastic Hell Freak. Why am I saying fantastic? We've got a 6-star perfect soul for this character. So he hits one enemy twice. Each hit has a 20%, books up to 40% chance of the big version of decreased defense. So that's quite a nice move. Double hit, big version decreased defense. You've got quite a high chance if you sniper him and book this out. It's like 75% chance roughly it goes on with the 2 hits. Attacks one enemy, 50% chance of stealing all buffs from the target before attacking, books up to 75. Again, another champion for the keeps here, because he does steal the buffs, useful in arena as well potentially. Swaps HP with an enemy and then grants an extra turn. He's got speed in all battles. We are swimming in speed auras. I think we might well build him. He's rare, so he's not going to be amazing, but given we've got the 6-star soul for him, I think that's going to be handy, because we will need some awakened champs for City of Centrana, so good pull.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
And epic number 2 is in, and it is Annex. This guy's quality.
Yes! Yes! Oh, yeah! Can you feel that, buddy? Huh?
Really, really good for clan boss. So he hits twice on his A1. Each hit has 30%, books up to 35% chance of decreased defense big version. So exactly the same move that we just pulled with the Hell Freak pretty much. Same affinity as well. He hits one enemy twice. Each hit will potentially 100% chance when booked to do decreased accuracy and big version of poison for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So that's quite a decent amount of poison. His A3 attacks one enemy, and he's got 100% chance when booked of placing the big version of Weaken, and heals himself. There's a little bit of self-heal in his kit, which is nice. His passive, he'll put increased defense on himself when his HP drops below 75%. The way our clan boss team's structured, we don't really need this, but he will put increased attack on himself when his HP goes below 50%. That, of course, is handy because he is an attack-based champion. And he grants an extra turn when his HP drops below 10%. So, unkillable wise, that I think can cause a little bit of a problem for speed tuning, but we don't have unkillable. So that is good. So that's interesting. So we could build this guy out as our poisoner in clan boss instead of petrified rock root, because he does hit pretty hard. So that's a cracking pull. And there we go. Thurgist, so that is part of the Razin fusion. She fills random turn meter by 10% or A1, not great. A2 attacks one enemy 100% if booked. Chance of block buffs for one turn, not very strong because it's only one champ. And she puts increased defense and increased attack on everybody for 2 turns. Again, very early clan boss if you're looking to extend a small version of increased defense. Yeah, maybe. And a res in faction crypts. So yeah, that is another piece of the Razin fusion. But I'm not sure we needed her because I think we've already got. Well, we've got Torture Helm. He's a character we want to keep, so we only need one more rare, which is this Halberdier. So yeah, that's pretty good. We're a little bit closer to a second Torture Helm. We've got a Hurler. Campaign farmable, not good. Double hit A1, 25% chance to ignore 50% defense. I guess that probably hits when that procs, but it's a low chance. Random buff removal on his A2, fills his turn meter by 30%, and he puts skills on cooldown. I think he potentially could be a fun little champ if he had nobody else, but I don't see that being strong enough to build. Anointed, again, he's another early champ you can build for the keeps because he's got a triple hit A1 with a 25% chance of freeze, so that's good for Fire Knight. It's good for a little bit of control. It's not a massive chance, but he is a rare and it is an A1, but he does have a attack on his A2 that hits twice. Each hit can be booked up to a 85-90% chance of stealing a buff from the target. Goes down to 3-turn cooldown, so he kind of like steals a buff, which is nice. And then he does AoE turn meter fill and increased crit rate on everybody for 2 turns. So again, you could have him in a tag arena team. You could just stick him in there. And his only function is 25% turn meter fill and 30% increased crit rate, because that's quite a decent buff. So yeah, he's potentially usable in a few areas. Grappler. Defense-based Skinwalker. This guy's okay, I think, again, as a very early champ. Double hit A1, very small chance of placing Weaken. So he's got his double hit, so he's okay for Fire Knight. I think the rest of his kit works quite well there too. Double hit on his A2, 50-50 of placing the small poison, not great. But it's this move here, I think, that makes him quite decent. A shield on all allies equal to 20% of their HP and a 15% reflect damage on everybody for 2 turns. Can come down to a 4-turn cooldown, so provided the shield is broken when the Fire Knight slaps you, you can get the reflect damage on. So he's okay for Fire Knight early, but I think we're okay. He does have Spirit HP aura as well. Not a terrible champ, but not screaming build me either. Lone Blade Rehab, so another Sylvan Watcher. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each crit fills his turn meter by 5%. I'm wondering if we've already got this guy. Attacks one enemy twice on his A2, puts increased crit rate on himself. First hit has a 50-50 chance of placing the small decreased defense for 2 turns. Second hit, small version of weaken for 2 turns. He's got a passive which you need to ascend him for, and he does 5% extra damage if decreased defense or weaken are out, an extra 10% if both. Yeah, okay, I guess for a rare he's doing well, decreased defense and weaken the small versions. That's potentially useful for faction wars, but other than that, probably unbuildable. Got ourselves a Flailer, rare defensive dwarf. Attacks one enemy, 25% chance of decreasing turn meter by 10%. That's pretty rubbish. Low chance, low turn meter. Increased defense on this champion and the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. Also fills his own turn meter, 25%. Not amazing. A3, attacks one enemy, 75% chance to provoke for 1 turn. Single target, defense based. Defense faction crypt aura. I mean, maybe a faction war champion, but honestly, I think you'd be looking for better champs to invest in, really, even for faction wars.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Epic number 3. and it's the Catacomb Counselor. Interesting ally attack champion, mostly used in arena, but you can use him in clan boss. So he's got a 50% chance of placing increased attack on himself for 2 turns, then attacks an enemy. You can't change that with books. Triple hit A3 heals this champion 20% of the damage done. So Finite potentially useful, and then this is actually quite good for Finite as well. Teams up with 3 random allies when you get him ascended to attack a single enemy. Allies during the attack use the default skill. So you pair him with a couple of multi-hitters. For Finite it's very powerful. For clan bosses can be very powerful as well, because you're pumping out a lot of extra damage, particularly if you've got high utility A1s with poisons, decreased attack, poison explosion. So yeah, he's a really good champ. Happy with that. 3 epics, not bad.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
4 epics, even better, but it is the very unlordly Legionary.
No! God, please, no! No!
So this guy's login champ. He is theoretically designed for the Finite, but he's not very good. 2 hit A1, extra hit if he's got heal reduction, the small version. 2 extra hits if the the person he's hitting has got 100% heal reduction. So the idea is you put the 100% heal reduction on the Finite, and then his A1 becomes a quad hitter. He attacks 1 enemy. He's got the big version of decreased speed, 75% chance for 2 turns. Also decreases turn meter 20% if he places the speed. So the idea is the shield goes down, he places decreased speed and steals, well, doesn't steal, decreases turn meter a little bit. And then he puts reflect damage and continuous heal on everybody for 2 turns. Finite hits you, reflect damage brings the shield down, and that's kind of it. He's not very good though. Finite is probably his only area. Bannerlord. Disappointing pull, I guess, because we get him anyway. Our third Gnarlhorn, fantastic champion. Pleased, I guess, we can now keep 2 copies of him and use 1 for the Raz Infusion. His main move here is this AoE provoke, which he places, so he can't weak hit it on a 3-turn cooldown. And he also makes himself unkillable for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown with a really nice 27% dungeon aura. So this guy's really useful. So even to get an extra couple of copies of him, that's pretty pleasing. I've got a Greybeard, campaign farmable control champ with a fairly okay-ish chance to freeze on his A2, which does come down to 3-turn cooldown on an AoE. Shield counterattack, puts provoke, and has got a 30% defense dungeon aura. We've got one of these guys at 30, so this guy will either go in the faction Guardians to boost that up, or we might use him as a skill book. But saves is going back to have to do that stage of the campaign. Hellfang, we've already got a copy, so again, this guy's probably just going to be a chicken. He does have an AoE freeze if you pair him with Hound Spawn. That's quite a nice move. I think the Hound Spawn does complete ignore defense if they're on the same team and the freeze is out, so you can do some fun stuff with them. 50% chance of placing the big version of Weaken on his A2, and he's got a 15% chance of putting target skill on cooldown. Maybe usable in Faction Wars to begin with, but ultimately I think he's going to drop off quite a lot. Yeah, rating's pretty terrible, so probably just a chicken that one. Is this Mother Superior? It is. Another speed aura at 13%. She has a 35% chance of the small version of attack down for 2 turns on her A1. She heals an ally by 30% of her max HP, which can be a pretty big heal. Any surplus heal goes on as a shield, which is nice. And she does the small version of continuous heal on everybody for 2 turns, and then a 10% shield if HP is full. Okay, support champion for Sacred Order. Better healer, I think, than War Priest. So potentially for Faction Wars, you might need a healer. But the rest of it, I don't think you build her. I think she's Faction War champ only, probably.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Epic number 5, and it is a dupe Catacomb Counselor. Well, there we go, Faction Guardians. I don't think we'd ever use 2 of him, but yeah, our second dupe epic on the account, Catacomb Counselor. Nice. Well, 5 epics is better than we thought, so that's happy days. If we can get 1 more epic, then we're definitely laughing. Purgator, I don't think this guy's buildable. 2-hit A1 ignoring shields, AoE on his A2, extra crit damage for each debuff on the champion, can hit up to 50% extra crit damage, so there is something you can do if you can really be bothered fiddling about with a rare for arena. And he destroys max HP 20%. He's the wrong affinity for the Scarab boss. He's probably not going to be tough enough, I don't think. So again, I think he's probably a little bit of a skip in the build queue. Got ourselves a Spirit Host, of course campaign farmable for her cleanse, block buffs, big version of increased attack. That helps us out powering up Kale in the Faction Guardians, but I don't think we need to go through her terribly much. Should all be familiar with her now. Wanderer, another part of the Raz infusion. He's got small chance 30% of the small weaken on his A1 for 2 turns. Hits 1 enemy 2 times, decreases turn meter by 10% if he crits. Also fills his own turn meter by 10% if he crits. And then we'll ignore 25% defense on his A3. Attack in dungeons. So just have a little look-see at the Raz infusion. We are collecting pieces. So we just need a raider. If we get a raider, we can fuse this Aeronaris. We've got Lich, we've got a Torture Helm, so then that would just leave us with a couple. So we're not that far off being able to do Razin, which is quite exciting. We're going to have to clear some space actually. I haven't left enough character spaces. A Beast Wrestler, rare attack dwarf, 2-hit A1, small chance of stun, it's not looking good. A2, attacks one enemy, blocks revive. I mean, block revive is handy, but not on a rare attack-based champion. Damage increased by 50% first hit on each enemy. I mean, that is potentially powerful. Crit rate in arena, but I mean, crit rate. You just want to build AoE nukers, I think, in arena. So he's a skip. Corpulent Cadaver used to be amazing, but I think they've changed him now. HP based. Attacks one enemy, additional damage if he's under a shield buff. The additional damage is equal to 30% of the value of the shield, but can't exceed 200,000. I think he used to be able to do like almost unlimited damage. HP champ, so that's interesting. Shield on this champion equals to 20% of his HP for 3 turns, grants an extra turn. So that's where he self-shield basically. A3 attacks one enemy. Very high chance of provoke, can go up to 100%, so crowd control, 3-turn cooldown, and defensive aura, 15% in all battles. Yeah, maybe worth the build for faction wars, but certainly not a priority at the moment. Used to be used in Hydra, I think. Dupe Beast Wrestler, well, that helps us out with the faction crypts, but we're definitely not building him even though we've got 2 copies now. Acolyte, I think I've had this guy and chickened him. He does do an AoE cleanse on a 4-turn cooldown. He has a single target A2, which has a 75% chance. Books up higher, 50% turn meter reduction, which is okay, but 4-turn cooldown's a bit much. And then he fills his own turn meter by 25% on his A1. Attack in arena aura. Yeah, I don't like that champion, so I doubt we're going to do anything with him. Can we get one more epic out of these remaining shards? Tormentor, again, this is not a champion you normally build. Extra hit on his A1 if he crits, which is not great. Attacks twice at random, which is poor. Small version of decreased accuracy, which is poor. And his A2 attacks one enemy twice. Each hit 50% chance of block buffs. Places stun if the target is under block buffs. So not a good move. Not a good chance. 4-turn cooldown and a single target. So he's chicken. Definite chicken. Sanctum Protector. I've built one of these guys out for early faction wars in the past. He's got small chance of stun on his A1, which is okay, a little bit of crowd control. He's got AoE attack, then places increased defense on everybody, so that's quite nice. You know, you can put him in a stun set, and he's got stun on his A1 plus the stun set hit, AoE with potential stun, buffs up everybody's defense, and then he's got a 70% chance of provoking a single enemy. You can buck it up to 100%, and you can get it down on 4-turn cooldown. So for faction wars, potentially if you're really stuck for Sacred Order, he can work. Roughstone, Ogren Tribe attack. Again, I don't think we build this guy, but he does have AoE on his A1, which is rare. So stun set usage, quite a bit of utility there. He destroys max HP by 15% of the damage inflicted. He is at least the correct affinity for the Scarab boss. And he's got an A3 that will ignore 50% of defense, 50% chance of granting an extra turn if he crits. So he could be interesting. I think I've 40'd one of this guy before, but I don't think I've ever actually gone for him. So again, Spider's Den, if you're just looking to AoE blast your way through, AoE, I don't know quite how hard these moves hit, but extra turn could be useful. So yeah, there's maybe something we could do with him. It's going to be down the queue though. Twinclaw Disciple, again, I don't think we build this guy. 35% chance of the big heal reduction for 2 turns. You know, if you need it, it is there. A2 attacks one enemy, 50% chance of small weaken, which is not really very good. And then his A3, one enemy attack, 50% chance of block active skills for 2 turns, increases to 100% if the heal reduction is out. I can't see that guy being particularly useful. It's a bit more of a chicken.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh, we've got Vogoth.
Yes! Yes! Oh, yeah! Can you feel that, buddy? Huh?
This is fantastic. This is amazing. This guy is legendary quality, epic. I did pull some shards for him in the recent event that we had. HP based Undead Horde. He's incredible in so many areas. Triple hit A1, fantastic for Fire Knight. Debuff Extender, so 30% chance of increasing a random debuff. So that makes him very usable for Clan Boss because he has a triple hit and he extends the debuffs. He's got an AoE 60% chance of placing Provoke, bucks up to 75 for a turn. So AoE Provoke, 75% chance is nice. Can place the decreased attack if he gets the Provoke off based on HP, so it's a really nice control move. Obviously can't do decreased attack on Clan Boss, can't do Provoke on Clan Boss. A3, when attacked, places a leech debuff on the attacker for 2 turns, so again that is useful for pretty much all bosses. I'd say Clan Boss could be nice. If the attacker is under Provoke debuff placed by him, also has a 70% chance of increasing cooldown of a random skill by 2 turns once per attack. So the idea is in arena, he puts Provoke out, might land decreased attack as well. Then when he gets hit, he puts Leech out so your entire team can heal, and then he might put skills on cooldown, which is nice. But his passive is the real kicker here, guys. Whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received, only 25% against bosses. This champion only receives half that heal that the other allies receive. You put him in the last slot in the team and he takes damage. You may build him with really high HP and he just heals everybody. And like people smack him with AoEs or target him because he's locked them up with a Provoke and he just heals everyone. That is an absolutely amazing pull. Really stoked for Vogoth. So good success, I think. A Coffin Smasher, HP, Night Revenant, really good for Clan Boss, really good for bosses in general. Triple hit A1, 15% chance of placing big version of decreased attack once he's ascended. You can get it up to 30%, but that is each hit, so that does work out quite a high probability once you factor, 30%, 30%, 30% 3 times in a row. And of course you can sniper it up to 35, so one of the strongest A1s in the game for a rare in my opinion. Then he's got a single target A2, places HP burn, 50% chance, does go up to 60, 75. So you can get up to 80% chance of placing an HP burn. Obviously useful in certain parts of Doom Tower to have a single target HP burn. Ekes out a bit more damage on Clan Boss, and then he decreases the damage he takes from AoEs by 5%. So again, potential we could build him for Clan Boss as our decreased attack down champion. It's a good pull. Spymaster, we've got this guy at 5-star because I do like his kit. Bannerlord HP. Attacks one enemy, 40% chance of decreasing 2 random buffs. So we could use him as a skill book, I guess. He's got AoE with block buffs on his A2. 60% chance when you book it up. Block buffs can be handy for faction wars. You come across a lot of Valkyries and stuff like that. 410 cooldown when booked, which is not amazing. But he does have a nice counter-attack and a 75% chance to place Provoke for 1 turn on 2 enemies. So he comes in, counter-attacks with his A1, decreasing any buffs they have. I think this guy's kit looks okay enough. We do have secret rooms for rare champions, secret rooms I think for HP, so that's kind of why I was thinking of building him out. But yeah, for a rare, pretty good champ. Do we have enough space? We don't. Let's just increase, because we do need a bit more space to work with anyway. And the last shard is a Lamella, HP based champ. Very low chance of the small version of decreased defense on his A1. Small version of decreased attack on his A2, but it is an AoE. And then decrease the damage the champion takes by 30% when HP drops below 30 with a faction crypt aura. Maybe potentially early, very early clan boss, but I guess we're past that. So that was it, guys. No gold, which is always a disappointment, but I don't think you can really expect that out of 30 shards. But looking at who we got, we picked ourselves up a Hellfreak, which is really nice because we've got the 6-star Ascension. The Blessing, we picked ourselves up Coffin Smasher, who is potentially quite interesting. Got the Ogren Tribe AoE Attacker. What was the guy's name? We don't want to feed people. Roughstone, I think he's potentially interesting. And then we got ourselves the Catacomb Counselor, a couple of copies of him. Vogoth, definitely the star. Annex is a star as well. Lochwain, I think is going to be decent. So that's not bad. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 epics out of the 34 shards, which is good. And let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are all usable. So that's pretty handy, and 2 of them are absolutely pretty high tier epics. So overall, guys, I think I would call that a success. I hope you enjoyed our very lengthy shard opening video. I'm going to pop another shard tomorrow when I get it, and of course any shards we get. Let's just have a quick look and see how we did on the champion chase. We got the epic book, which is nice. We're probably unlikely to make this 5-star chicken, but I mean, what, another couple of epics would be close enough to do it. Maybe one more epic we could do it with. Some mystery shards, that might be a target, because this would be very powerful for us still. 5-star chicken saves us a bunch of time. We might get an epic book out of this. It depends how many people pop shards in the next few days, but after that won't be able to get the legendary book. We just don't have the power. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you for joining me. I've been Filthy Casual. Take it easy, guys. Peace.